Picking up from the last video, we remember how the aponeurotica runs along the top of the head. And it has more than one way that it affects the shape of the head. So I've shown you guys how I believe it could turn your head from this to this, which is like the side view. It's this collapse of the scalp, actually the skull. It changes the shape of the skull. So this strip here also has an effect from the frontal view. And if you have androgenic alopecia, if you're losing your hair, you have male pattern baldness, most likely you won't look like this. So this is the good one. This is if you have like a good healthy head of hair. Man, he's a little lopsided on the jaw there, huh? That's okay. So we're taking a look at the top of the head. You look at a lot of girls that shave their heads, and they have this really nice, super round, cue ball kind of shape to their head. And they don't lose their hair, not like us, right? They still do. And I have a feeling it's due to the same bad habits. But anyways, if you have a healthy head of hair, most likely you have, from the front, a shape like this. And if you don't, I think this is in the worst case scenario, and it's a slight exaggeration. Your head looks like this, kind of like an egg, you know. It looks longer. It looks. See, oh, I just did it again. It looks elongated, you know, and it's got these pockets here, these divots that I've actually noticed in myself when I feel my head, and actually when I've shaved my head before, is that my head is kind of got this shape. A lot less now. I feel like I'm getting a lot closer to this. However, that's still slightly prominent. And it corresponds to where the aponeurotica lies. Oh, so just a quick note. I had the name wrong last time. There's two names for it, which are very similar. It's the epicranial aponeurosis, and it is also called the Galea aponeurotica. Just wanted to clear that up. So anyways, the way it runs along the top of the head, you have the muscles here, right? And the strip is basically a tendon, okay? The strip of tissue that runs along the top of the head is being pulled, okay? So you go from having a nice round shape like this, but when you develop those bad habits and you start tensioning the scalp and pulling on the whole system, the skull begins to take a different shape. And we don't think of bone as being malleable, like, let's say clay, right? You push down on some clay and it instantly forms to the shape of your finger, or your hands, or whatever. Over time, bones can react in similar ways, okay? With enough time and enough pressure, as age can produce some results like this. So you have the muscles here tensioning down, and it creates this collapse of the skull. And like I said, this is a slight exaggeration, but it's basically this shape, which corresponds to this shape here. It creates all these lumps and bumps that you just don't want, because it's a lot easier to channel blood up a smooth curve than a sharp corner. We have arteries that run all up our head, from the front, from the peripherals, and from the back. And they start from down here, and they send blood up to the top of the head. And we have veins that drain that blood in the same, basically in the same positions. It goes up and down the same way. And if it goes up this way, it goes down the same way. So when you have these notches, these bony growths, basically, these structures that are pinching on all these arteries and veins, you don't have good blood flow. There's no oxygen, there's no nutrients, and again, there's no draining of DNT, dihydrotestosterone, which forms around the follicles, closes them up, makes you lose your hair. So yeah, I just wanted to cover that on this one. Class dismissed.